the front door slammed open. "Dad," little Oliver called out, startled. His crayons froze mid-stroke. Standing in the doorway was billionaire Richard Hale, tall, cold, and furious. He wasn't supposed to be home yet. The board meeting in Singapore had been cancelled, and now he stood staring at something that made his jaw tighten. There, on the carpet of his marble-floored living room, his black maid, Grace, sat cross-legged beside his son, showing him how to read from a torn children's book. Her soft voice carried warmth. "See this word, Oliver? It's dream. You can sound it out. What is going on here?" Richard's tone sliced through the room. Grace quickly stood, clutching the book like a shield. Oliver flinched, hiding behind her. "Sir, I pay you to clean, not to play teacher," Richard barked. The book slipped from her hands, and the quiet kindness in her eyes met the cold disbelief in his. Richard's voice echoed across the marble. "You're crossing lines, Grace. My son doesn't need lessons from the maid." Grace lowered her gaze. "I'm sorry, sir. He asked me to read with him. He said, his tutor never comes anymore." Oliver tugged his father's sleeve. "She's really good, Dad. She makes it fun." "Enough," Richard snapped. "Go to your room." The boy hesitated, eyes glistening. But now, Oliver ran upstairs, the sound of his small feet fading. Silence filled the house, broken only by the faint hum of the air conditioner. Richard turned back to Grace. "You have no idea how this looks." Grace swallowed, trying to steady her trembling hands. "With respect, sir, it just looked like a child who needed attention." Her words stung more than she realized. Richard's late wife, Claire, had been gone for a year now, and in that year, the house had turned hollow. Tutors quit, nannies rotated, and his only son had started to stutter whenever he spoke in class. But pride was a louder voice than guilt. "I didn't hire you to parent my child," Richard said flatly. Grace nodded. "Understood, sir." She gathered the fallen book. The cover was torn, pages creased. It wasn't one from the mansion's polished library. It was hers, the same one she used to teach her own son years ago, before illness took him. When she left the room, Richard sank into the sofa, his anger slowly cooling. He stared at the crayons on the table, one word written in shaky handwriting on Oliver's drawing, "Dream." Hours later, Richard overheard laughter from upstairs. Against his better judgment, he followed the sound. Peeking into Oliver's room, he froze again. Grace was there, not reading this time, but helping Oliver build a cardboard rocket. Oliver looked up, grinning. "Dad, we're making the moon. Grace says anyone can reach it if they just..." Richard stepped in sharply. "Grace, downstairs now." She stood immediately. "Yes, sir." When she left, Oliver's smile faded. "You're mad again," he whispered. Richard sighed, rubbing his temples. "I'm not mad. I just don't want people overstepping." "She's not people," Oliver murmured. "She's my friend." The words hit deeper than expected. Richard had almost forgotten what friendship felt like. That night, as rain lashed against the mansion's tall windows, Richard couldn't sleep. He poured himself a drink, the storm outside matching the noise inside his mind. Then he heard soft humming from the kitchen. Grace was cleaning, as usual, long after hours. But the song she sang, gentle, soulful, was the same lullaby his wife used to sing to Oliver. He stepped closer without thinking. "Where did you learn that?" Grace turned, startled. "It's an old hymn my grandmother used to hum back home in Georgia." Richard stared at her. "My wife used to sing the exact same tune." Grace smiled faintly. "Maybe love speaks the same language everywhere." The air felt heavy, yet calm. Richard's eyes fell on a small photo tucked near her cleaning supplies. A boy, maybe 7 years old, beaming at the camera. "My son," Grace said quietly, noticing his glance. "He passed 3 years ago. Teaching Oliver helps me feel useful again." For the first time, Richard saw her not as an employee, but as a grieving mother who had given warmth where his wealth never could. The next morning, Oliver bounded downstairs, backpack swinging. Grace stood near the door, ready to leave for the day. Before she could step out, Richard called, "Grace, wait." She turned cautiously. "I owe you an apology," he said simply. "You weren't overstepping. You were filling a space I didn't realize was empty." Grace's eyes softened. "Sir, I was only doing what any mother would do." He nodded. "Then keep doing it. Not as my maid, as Oliver's tutor." Officially, Grace blinked, surprised. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Just say yes," Richard said, a small smile breaking his usual reserve. From the staircase, Oliver cheered. "Does that mean she's staying?" "Yes," Richard replied, looking at her with quiet gratitude. "She's staying." Months later, laughter once again filled the Hale mansion. Oliver's grades soared, but more than that, his smile returned. Richard often joined their lessons, learning not just words and stories, but compassion. On the wall hung one of Oliver's newest drawings, a stick figure family under a big sun. 3 people, hand in hand, with the word dream written above them. Beneath it, Richard had scribbled a simple note in his own handwriting. We're all teachers. When we choose kindness, and, for the first time in a long while, he meant it. Wealth can build walls, but kindness builds homes. Sometimes, the greatest lessons come from those we least expect.